Good evening. I'm Sergeant Colburn, and I'm going to be giving you a class today on practicing noise, light, and litter discipline. We are going to go over our draw. Being that we're indoors today, we're going to talk about indoor hazards. We are going to be cognizant of our ceiling fan that is at the back of the room. We're going to stay away from that. That's why I have you guys set up over here. Also the coffee pot, because we're going to need it tonight. We're going to make sure that the coffee lid is on, as well as we're going to stay away from any and all hot surfaces. Any electrocution hazards due to the outlets that are in the room. If you see anything, see something, say something, all right? We're going to avoid putting unauthorized objects in the outlets, as well as we have backpacks. We also have wires from extension cords, things of that nature. We're going to be aware of our surroundings, maintain some situational awareness, and place items on the floor neatly. Now, I'm going to give you a list of things I'm going to need you guys to pull out. It's going to be part of your PCC, and that's going to be your ID card, your water source, paper, pen, and a flashlight. If you guys would get those out right now so that I can go ahead and inspect those to make sure that you have those. All right, yes, awesome, great. Now we're going to go into the task and conditions. The task is to practice noise, light, and litter discipline. The conditions: you are a member of a mounted or dismounted element conducting a tactical mission and having been directed to comply with noise, light, and litter discipline. Enemy elements are in your area of operation. Some iterations of this task should be performed in Mod 4. Standards: prevent enemy from locating your element by exercising noise, light, and litter discipline at all times. Special conditions: none. The safety risk is low. Mod 4, sometimes. I'm going to give you step-by-step instruction as well as demonstrate each step in detail. Your performance steps: exercise noise discipline. Avoid all unnecessary vehicular and foot movement. We're going to secure with tape or other materials all metal parts, for example, metal slings, canteen cups, ID tags, and we're going to do that to prevent them from making noise during movement. Note: do not obstruct any moving parts of weapons or vehicles. Avoid all unnecessary talk. Use radio only when necessary. Set radio volume low so that only you can hear it. Use visual techniques to communicate. Step 2, exercise light discipline. Do not smoke. The smoking of cigarettes or cigars or anything else of that nature can be seen and smelled by the enemy. Conceal flashlights and other light sources so that the light is filtered, for example, under a poncho. We're going to cover or blacken anything that reflects light, for example, metal surfaces, vehicles, and or glass. We are going to conceal vehicles and equipment with available natural camouflage, such as tree branches, brush, anything that we can that's a part of our environment. That's what we're going to use. We're going to exercise litter discipline as step 3. And we're going to establish a litter collection point: empty food containers, empty ammo cans or boxes, old camouflage. We're going to use all those items when occupying a position. We're going to also verify all litter has been collected in preparation to leaving a position. Take all litter with you when you are leaving a position. Is everybody clear on what the performance steps are? Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. So, as a part of the practice scenario, as a part of it, I'm going to provide you, the soldier, with the equipment and materials described in our condition statement. I'm also telling you that what's going to be expected of you by reviewing the task standards. I'm going to stress that the importance of you need to observe all cautions, warnings, and dangers to avoid injury to yourself, personnel, and if applicable, any damage to the equipment. We're going to set up an opportunity for you guys to go ahead and practice these measures. You're going to exercise noise discipline, you're going to exercise light discipline, and exercise litter discipline. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to go ahead and practice that. At this time, if you would please pause your video to practice these standards. All right, you guys have had 5 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. Now we're going to brief the evaluation procedures to the squads and all the performance measures. So, performance measure 1 is exercising noise discipline. Performance measure number 2 is exercising light discipline. Performance measure number 3 is exercising litter discipline. I need you also to understand that if any of these performance measures are failed, the evaluation is over, and then we will talk about what went wrong, how to fix it, and then we'll set you up for a reevaluation at a later date, time, location, and uniform. All right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do the evaluation. Okay. All right. All right. So now that we've gone through all of that, we have 2 that are trained, 1 that is untrained. So overall effectiveness of the squad is untrained. Private confused. We'll discuss later, and we'll go over the date for your evaluation, as well as the time, the location, and uniform. All right. At this time, I'd like for everybody to conduct a police call so that we can make sure that we got everything accounted for. All right, thank you for conducting the police call. If you guys would bring your PCI and PCC gear back up here, your ID tag, your water source, pen and paper, and your flashlight, so that I can make sure that we all have that, so that when we leave, everybody leaves with what they brought. All right. Thank you. Great. All right, everybody has all of their stuff. At this point, I want to review our draw, in which we were talking about our environment as well as our surroundings. We are indoors, so again, we talked about the ceiling fan at the back of the room. We're going to go ahead and stay away from that, as well as the coffee pot, making sure that the lid is still on it, and we're not going to be touching any hot surfaces. Also for electrocution hazards, because of the outlets and the extension cords, please do not put any unauthorized objects in those outlets. Be aware of your tripping hazards, such as backpacks, extension cords, things of that nature. We're going to maintain situational awareness and place the items on the floor. All right. And I'm Sergeant Colburn, and I conducted this assessment. The review is, the risk assessment is low. All personnel and equipment are accounted for. There was no damage to equipment and no injuries. All controls were effective. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you. Now we're going to go ahead and conduct the AAR. And just so everybody's clear what the rules and goals are, everyone has a right to speak, and I want to encourage everyone in maximum participation. Please don't talk over each other, and as always, be respectful of differing viewpoints. What was supposed to happen today? So I was supposed to introduce myself. I was supposed to give you a brief on our draw, as well as do the PCC, PCIs. I was supposed to state the task and the conditions and the standards, of which the tasks were to exercise noise, light, and litter discipline, I gave you step-by-step instruction and demonstrated each step in detail. I made sure to explain to you guys to make sure that you follow all the notes, cautions, and warnings. Then I gave you a brief on the practice scenario with instruction. I gave you time to practice that scenario. And then we briefed the evaluation procedures to the squad. We informed the audience that if any of the performance measures failed, that the evaluation was over. We conducted a police call and then a PCI. We reviewed the draw again. And so what went right? All right. Everything got all covered up so that we had nothing reflecting, no light showing, nobody was talking. Okay. So what went wrong? We didn't clean up very well after ourselves. All right. How do we improve the training for next time? Anybody? Do a better police call. Hold each other accountable. Okay. Pick up. If you see it, pick it up. All right. So, as a part of this AAR, we talked about what happened. We talked about what was supposed to happen. We talked about what went right. Covered everything up. We talked about what went wrong. We didn't clean up after ourselves very well. How do we improve next time? Were there any injuries or damaged equipment? No. All personnel and equipment are accounted for. There was no damage to equipment and no injuries. Were all control measures implemented effectively? Yes, all controls were effective. At this time, I'd like to introduce the next instructor, Staff Sergeant Jensen. This concludes my brief, and I would like to request close out of the training site. Thank you.